Happy New Year's Eve! I am home, cooking, doing laundry, house cleaning, and just generally getting organized, which makes me super happy. The husband is at a gig, and so I'm working. And I'm hungry. I have not eaten dinner yet, and it's what, 7:30? It's typical. I work today, and I think when I work on the computer, I forget to eat mostly. So I thought I would get on live, because I know a lot of you are just sitting at home. At least that's what I hear from the Stonington Community Forum. A lot of people are just sitting at home tonight. And I'm cooking, and I'm cooking vegan. So I thought I would share with you guys what I'm making from very little in my refrigerator, which is still super easy. And also talk a little bit about Veganuary. Hey, Patty. Veganuary starts tomorrow. It basically is a real nonprofit that exists in the UK, encouraging people to adopt a vegan, plant-based lifestyle for the month of January and hopefully beyond. So I am piggybacking that with my own gig at The Vegan Potter. You can follow me at The Vegan Potter on all my social media accounts. You can follow my website, theveganpotter.com, and yeah, check out my Veganuary page. I've got resources there, I've got recipes, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of live feeds with cooking demos like this, super informal. As you can see, I don't dress for the camera. This is what I look like when I'm in my house. And my house is not some big, huge, beautiful, brand new house like we envision in our heads for someday. But we live in a tiny little apartment. I've got a super tiny apartment-sized stove. As you can see, I usually have 4 things on the stove at the same time. So tonight, to kick things off, I thought I would talk a little bit about tempeh. A lot of people don't know what tempeh is. Hey, Chip. And so tempeh is cultured or fermented soybeans. So you can find it usually in the produce section in your grocery store. It looks pretty funky. It comes in a block. It's not like tofu that people worry about being gelatinous. I'll show you up close. It's actually, you can see the individual soybeans, and sometimes you'll see areas of gray or even areas that look a little funky. That just means it's fermented, it's cultured longer. But this one looks pretty evenly colored, evenly consistent. You can also find tempeh that's mixed with different seeds besides soybeans. They'll have flax or other things mixed in. But it's pretty low calorie, 160 calories per serving. It's got 18 grams of protein. So it's a really good source of protein. It has nothing added to it, so there's no sodium, which is great because sodium is a concern with a lot of people. And it basically is just water, organic brown rice, and cultured soybeans. So I'm going to show you what I normally do with tempeh, because out of the package, it's just very uninviting, unexciting. So I'll take it out. Hopefully you guys can see me chopping here. I've tried to set up the camera so you could easily see what's going on. And I'll just cut it. It stays really firm, kind of no matter what you do to it, unlike tofu. And so I'll just cut it into some squares here, into little cubes. And what I'm going to start off doing with this tempeh is actually throwing it into a pot and steaming it. So I already have a pot that's got some water just about to boil back here. I've got my steaming basket inside that pot. I'm going to cover it up. Turn the burner up a little bit and hopefully get that guy going. In the meantime, I've got another little pot with water ready to boil, and I want something quick tonight because I'm hungry. Hi guys. So I want to eat quickly, so I'm cooking some rice ramen noodles, and these are jade noodles. They're made from organic brown rice flour, white rice flour, and bamboo extract. So they're a little bit green. They come in a 4-pack. It's like ramen noodles when you were a kid, except without the flavoring and all the junk. So I kind of like it. So I'm going to use one of these packs because it's just me eating this evening. And they come in a block just like ramen noodles used to, except they're green. And I'm going to throw those right into the pot that's about to boil. Don't let me forget them. And then I've got a bunch of veggies. So I've got my tempeh steaming, I've got my brown rice noodles or jade noodles about to boil, and I've got an onion and a carrot and a really lonely piece of celery. That's the last piece in the bag. Just some stuff I'm trying to use up in the fridge. So I'm just gonna throw in some veggies and we'll see what happens. And I've also got some purple cabbage and some roasted garlic from the olive bar, some Kalamata olives, and some of those sweet, sassy little peppers. I'm going to start actually, I think, with my onions so I can get that going. We're onion obsessed in our household. My husband cannot eat anything without onions. Anytime there's not a raw vegetable of some kind on top of whatever we're eating at night, he gets up and he cuts up an onion. I don't think I'm giving anything away there. But I'm going to start off. I'm just going to cut everything a little bit chunky. I'm not too concerned. Sometimes if I want things to really cook down to soft, I'll cut them smaller so they cook faster, but I'm going to leave everything a little bit of crunch tonight. So I'm going to get my other burner going and throw a little bit of olive oil in there. I use California olive oil. Highly recommended by my mom, who, if you know her, then you know she's a fantastic cook. There's a lot of fakey-wakey stuff going on with olive oil, so you do have to check the companies that you're using to make sure you're actually getting real olive oil from olives. Imagine that. Things aren't always what they appear. So I'm just gonna throw those onions in. I'm gonna chop up the rest of my veggies. I've got this burner on about medium. This is how I cook. I just get everything going at the same time. And normally if I'm not making, noodles in a pot like this, I'm just turning my tempeh down so it doesn't overboil. Then I'm using my Instant Pot to make rice or quinoa or something like that. So I'm just chopping up a carrot. I don't peel my carrots. I buy organic and I leave the peel on because there's nutrients in the peels. If you're eating organic, then you don't have to worry about peeling. And it saves a step as well. And I'm going to throw these right in the pot as well. And then my celery. This poor little guy. And normally I would be mixing up some kind of a sauce to put on top of all of this. Hi guys. But I'm cheesing out tonight because I went to a little party a couple weeks ago and I did a teriyaki version of tempeh and they were amazing. And it was store-bought teriyaki. It was not something I made myself. And it does have gluten in it and it does have sugar in it. So for those of you who think I eat completely clean, that is not the case. This is really crappy kikkoman, like I can't even believe I'm showing it to you. But it's garlic and green onion, and you know what? Whatever, I gotta use it up, right? I bought it, not gonna just throw it out. I'm gonna use it up. So I am gonna throw that into the tempeh once the tempeh is finished steaming. I love the leafy parts of celery too, so I'm gonna make sure that gets into the mix also. My favorite wooden spoons that my dad made for me and my mom pretty much gets used every single day. So I'm going to be using the teriyaki with the tempeh, and that'll do a little flavoring of the vegetables, but I like to season my vegetables when I'm cooking them. And I'll usually just do that with a little bit of salt and pepper, but I have to take an opportunity to tell you about my friend Bill. He owns the Spice Beast, and if you've been following me at all or come into my shop Glaze in Stonington, then you've seen that I'm a big proponent of these spice blends. Bill has put together, there's got to be a dozen of them. I don't know exactly how many, but I have all of them because I am a spice freak. I'll show you in a second. My spice rack is ginormous, and Some of my favorites that he does are jacked garlic and onion, which has these big chunky pieces of garlic and onion. And then Beast Prep, which actually has a protein powder in it. You know, I don't know how much you gotta eat of it to actually get protein out of it, but it's pea protein, so it is gluten-free. Garlic, onion, everything organic, non-GMO, non-irradiated, no preservatives, sugar-free, good stuff. I'm negating it with the teriyaki, I know, but come on. We can only do what we can do. And I'm gonna put a little bit of this Beast Prep in there. So this is just the garlic, onion, salt, and pepper blend that has some pea protein in it. And then I will also put in maybe a little bit of the jacked garlic and onion, because I did not cut, I get really lazy cutting up vegetables. Garlic is my least favorite thing to cut up. And so I really like this jacked garlic and onion because it's got big chunks of garlic in it, and it kind of does the work for me when I don't feel like cutting up fresh garlic. So these guys are doing good. The onions are starting to brown. Tempeh is steaming. Water's almost boiling for my noodles. And I'm gonna cut up some cabbage and throw that in too. We're a big cabbage household here too. We love Brussels sprouts, red cabbage, green cabbage, organic when we can find it. This, however, is not organic, so I'm gonna make sure I get a few of these leaves off the top. Yeah, so ask me questions. Oh, hi, my husband's watching. You should be working. What are you doing? I'm making tempeh. And some noodles. We'll see how it comes out. I'm glad I don't have the camera attached to this countertop, because you guys would have been jiggling. So purple cabbage. My husband loves purple cabbage. Anything that adds color, we love. The only thing I don't love about purple cabbage is that it ends up getting a little gray looking the day after. If you're eating leftovers. It's not always the most appetizing color in leftovers, but what are you gonna do? Same thing happens with red onions, I find. So, but there's a lot of good color going on in there. So, I'm gonna bring you guys over here so you can see what the heck's happening. All right, so first of all, here's my spice rack, right? Crazy amount of spices. It even continues up here. You can see all of the spice blends by the Spice Beast, very prominently displayed. They come in huge bottles, so they're really hard to use up quickly. And then here's what we got going on. So these are all my veggies: carrots, onions, red cabbage, celery. Basically the stuff I'm trying to use up in the fridge, with a little bit of seasoning, the Beast Prep blend and the jacked garlic and onion. I've also got some Jade rice noodles cooking up here. And I've got the tempeh steaming away. And that's going to be done momentarily. And I think these noodles will be as well. So, hi. I'm going to put you back. So I hope you guys will keep tuning in. I'm actually going to be broadcasting from the Vegan Potter on Facebook during the month of January, so make sure you're following that page if you're not, so you can catch my live feeds. I'll be broadcasting here on Facebook and also on Instagram, and I'm going to try to save these broadcasts so I can post them later as well. So I'm going to cut up a few of these little spicy peppers and a few Kalamata olives, because why not? I love olives. I'm going to give these noodles a taste just to make sure I don't overcook them. Yeah, I can tell those are done. So I'll drain these guys. And you can do this with brown rice, you can do it with quinoa, you can do it over pasta. This is just what I chose this evening because I knew they would be super fast. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off my tempeh and turn the veggies down so they don't get too soft. I've got a nice brown going on in the bottom of the pan so I can deglaze the pan as well. I'm going to heat up some of this teriyaki and toss in my tempeh. I don't know, I'm probably putting a quarter cup in there. I'm just trying to use up the bottle, really, is what I'm doing. I might as well just put in the rest. It's probably a little bit more than a quarter of a cup. I'm gonna let that heat up for a second since the tempeh is hot already. We'll add that in a moment. And in the meantime, I'm gonna cut up the rest of these olives and peppers. So the tempeh does not need to be cooked. You can eat it right out of the package, which is the beauty of plant-based eating. And I'm sorry I haven't looked up for questions prior to now. So there's no right or wrong when you go to cook the tempeh. I just like to steam it for a while, and the purpose that I do that for, the reason I do that for, is to open up, if you think of it like opening up the pores. And it helps it accept flavor a little bit more because it comes out of the package so tight. It doesn't really accept a marinade or any kind of liquid inside. So it really just does kind of a coating. So I find that steaming it actually helps to open up the pores in those cultured soybeans and allow them to accept more flavor. So that's the story behind that. I usually just steam them for a couple of minutes. Right, like it doesn't really, you can see it doesn't really change the color. They're just kind of a boring yellow. And I'll go ahead and toss them right into my teriyaki. Give them a little bit of a toss, coat them. I'll get this sizzling. So I'm just going to keep heating this through until this sort of starts to boil so I can boil some of this sauce down. But now that the tempeh is already steamed, it's going to more readily absorb the flavor from the teriyaki. Now I would also steam this if I was going to marinate, and I have done this before. The last time I did a recipe like this, I normally will marinate the day before so that things can really infuse a little bit better. But, you know, I didn't have time to do that. I didn't really think about it ahead of time today. So this will be just as good. Just tossing a little water in this veggie pan to deglaze the bottom of the pan, so I can get all those good flavors. Veggies are looking good. Noodles are done. Rest of these guys are chopped up. Any other questions? Yeah, of course, anytime. So if you're just tuning in, I'm cooking up some vegan food. I'm home tonight for New Year's Eve. Just trying to use up some stuff in my fridge, and also talk more about veganuary, or just eating more plant-based in 2020. 2020. Whew, that's crazy. I don't like to preach to people, although I will. And I don't want to judge people based on their food choices. I married an omnivore. He recently went vegan in April. which is fabulous, but he did it of his own accord. Had really nothing to do with my lifestyle at all. We did a detox together, a detox diet together, and he just really liked the way he felt, and so he stuck with it. And I just love cooking. I love cooking. I love lots of vegetables. He loves lots of vegetables. He's starting to cook more now too. And so I just wanted to, you know, do some more live feeds and do some more presentations with cooking demos and Q&As and informal sessions and resource pages and things like that. I'll post some articles this month just to encourage you guys to eat more plants. It's not that hard. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It's certainly, you know, you don't have to eat plants you don't like. I don't like every single vegetable. I don't like mushrooms. I just cannot develop a taste for mushrooms. I have tried them every which way, and I don't like them. Look at the purple from the cabbage. My fingers are purple. And so, you know, eat the things you like. I love broccoli. I love cauliflower. I love Brussels sprouts. I'm not a huge fan of eggplant. I don't like beets. So I think that there's a lot of myths that go on in terms of, oh, I have to like every vegetable in order to eat more plants. You know, plants aren't only vegetables, they're legumes, they're beans, they're nuts, they're seeds. And there's so many things that you can incorporate into really delicious, quick, easy, yummy, non-expensive food. Yay, eat more plants. Yeah, I mean, let it be a simple goal. I'm not a huge intention setter or, you know, wackadoo when it comes to the new year. I like to get myself organized. I like to feel like I'm going into a new year clean and fresh, but not necessarily with, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get a gym membership, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, you know, lose 40 pounds, and I'm just, it's great to have goals, but I end up disappointing myself when it comes to setting New Year's resolutions. So I don't tend to do that. I'm going to toss these olives and peppers into the veggies. My tempeh is boiling away. So the sauce, I'm going to bring you guys over here again so you can see this is just thickening up. Right. So you can see this horrible store-bought teriyaki is just thickening up and boiling a little bit. So I want this to dry up just a bit more, and then I think I'm just going to toss it right in with the veggies. I'm going to toss the noodles in there, and we're going to call it a day. Right, and the veggies here are cooked up nice. Got all kinds of things in there. I like to add different flavors. You know, like adding the olives and those little sweet peppers from the olive bar, to me, just adds a little surprise flavor that's not off-putting in something that you otherwise wouldn't expect. So even somebody with a super tiny little apartment-sized stove like we have can cook up delicious vegan food. All right, this is looking better. So I'm gonna see if I can make this happen while I'm holding the camera at the same time. Oh, look at that. Into the sink that goes, and then in go my rice noodles. I'm gonna separate them a little bit. There we go. In go those. Sticky little buggers. I'm gonna give everything a toss. I'm actually gonna shut the burner off. Everything's cooked. Now I just want to blend it all together. So it may not be the most beautiful thing, but it's still nutritious. Like we said in the beginning, 18 grams of protein in the tempeh. Rice noodles, everything is gluten-free except this horrible store-bought teriyaki sauce. Normally I'd make my own sauce. I'd throw together a little sesame oil, a little liquid aminos maybe, a little rice vinegar, sometimes some unsweetened peanut butter, a little chili paste, and do up something that way. But I wanted to use up the rest of this teriyaki, and so that's what we got. So I'm gonna put you guys back and I'll plate this up and we'll see how it tastes. Feel free to ask questions. Happy to answer anything you guys want to throw at me. This is what my husband and I eat out of every day. I call these blates. They're very shallow, but they're perfect for just about anything you want to eat. The other reason we eat out of these is because we don't have a dining room table. We eat off our couch. I'm giving away all our secrets, Matthew. But they're easy to hold, and for that reason, they're fun to eat out of. So, this is what we got. Steamed teriyaki tempeh with veggies and jade brown rice noodles. Delicious. Really good. That teriyaki is a little sweet, a little tangy, so it goes well with all the vegetables. I'm gonna go eat my dinner now. I hope you guys enjoyed that, for those of you who watched. I'm gonna leave this live, and I'll post it over on my Vegan Potter page as well. So make sure you follow that page so you can keep up to date with what's going on. Check out theveganpotter.com. A pop-up should appear. If it doesn't, head over to my event tab and click on Veganuary. And fill out my little form at the bottom and join me. It doesn't matter whether it's day 5 or day 6. I'm gonna keep doing it. I've got a lot of ideas. I want to talk to you guys and answer questions and just be a real live person that maybe some of you actually know. So you can ask questions. Non-judgmental community forum, so that we can come together in 2020 and eat more plants. Happy New Year!